Hey friends, it's Coop from Garage Gym Reviews, and today we're reviewing a new rower, the Assault Rower Pro. This is what they think, the Concept 2 killer. Do I agree? We'll find out. Okay, so in the land of rowers, there's really one name. There's a lot of names, but there's one name that is the gold standard, and that is Concept 2. This is the company that pretty much everybody has been chasing and has chased for years. There's a couple that I think compete in some realms, both on price. You have your cheaper options, but there's some other ones that are a little bit different, like say the Hydros of the world, that I like and are really good. But if you're looking for a rower for a home gym or a garage gym, the most obvious choice is the Concept 2 Rowerg, used to be the Model D. That is the most popular choice. But Assault has come out and said that their goal with this is basically to replace that. It's to usurp their authority and make this the one that most people have for their garage gym. So with bold claims, we must review it. Now, before I get into it, one, Assault did send us this so we could review it. Also, if you'd like to purchase it, I'll put a link below the like button so you can check it out. It's not gonna increase the cost that you pay, but will allow us to continue making excellent content. Okay, so let's get into it. First off, it does stand up. That's a feature that, Concept 2 is known for. It's actually a really nice feature. It sounds silly, but most people, well, everybody is working in constrained spaces, especially in home gyms. So having something that you can put away is very nice. Just wanted to show you that. Then it comes down. I will say, this is a much heavier unit than C2. They're using more steel. C2 is using more aluminum. There's just more stuff going on here. So that can be nice for stability, but just recognize it's a little bit heavier when you move it around. Now, one of the first things you'll see is the height of the unit. This is a little bit higher, I would say more similar to Concept 2's older model, the Model E. It just sits a little bit higher. That can be nice for an older population that has trouble squatting down as low, or people that just have lower body problems. This allows you to not have to squat as low, but I don't know if it's a significant enough feature to just say, you should buy this over C2. Now, that said, one of the most unique components of this versus C2 is the fact that it's using fan blades that have no damper, okay? That's one of the things about C2 that I'll talk about what I think is better or worse, but one thing that may be nice about this is it's more simplified. So you don't have any damper to play with. Damper, a lot of people think is resistance, and it not necessarily. It basically is allowing more or less air into the hopper, and then that's gonna change your resistance. It's kind of hard sometimes to choose if you haven't used a C2 rower a lot. Most people just kind of put it low or they put it high, and that's good to go. This one, it's just an open fan blade. It looks like a mini Assault air bike, basically Mario before he took the mushroom. That's what this is. It's a little bit smaller fan, similar blade structure and everything like that. And it's using belts within the system. So you can see there's actually belts, tooled belts within it that is driving the fan. But then out here, this is actually the chain. So the chain drive is running through, and then it's attaching to a different gear that's attached to a belt drive, and then that's rotating it. I think the reason they use chain is because chain is what most people are used to using. Something like the Hydro or the Hydro Wave, it's using a belt with magnetic resistance, which is a nice feeling resistance. This one though is using fan or air as the resistance, and then it's using the chain, which is similar, if not, I'm pretty sure this is the exact same chain as what's used on the Concept 2 Rowerg, which I think is a good thing because they're very durable. Okay, so when you get into it, it is a little bit higher. I'm not sure if I like it yet. Like the extra height, I'm so used to being low on the Rowerg. The extra height, some people like it, some people won't. You lock your feet in. Again, there's so many of these features on rowers that C2 has kind of just made the standard that many other people just say, oh, that's good, we can't improve on it, let's do something similar. And this is one of those. So it has the flex feet here. You put your feet in and then you lock your straps. Very similar feature to other ones that are out there. It does have adjustments, very similar, that allow you to lock in for different heights of feet. Okay, now to the handle. The handle is using an ergonomic design. It's a little bit more angled than Concept 2. You may be thinking, why are you talking about the handle? It doesn't matter that much. It actually does, because you're holding it the entire time. And there's a lot of people that are doing really long rows that handle matters a lot. So having something like foam, I don't know if you've ever used a rower that has foam on it, absolutely sucks. This is a very nice, like rubberized material. It's very similar, again, feels very similar to what Concept 2 is using. It's gonna take shock well. Even if you sweat, you're still gonna be able to grip it, but it's just enough tack that it feels good in hand without feeling, I guess, sticky. So then when you're ready to go, Like any other rower, you can start. One thing I will say that you notice very early on, the shock cord. So there's a shock cord that runs through the unit all the way to the back. That's what allows this to pull back in. Some of the really cheap units, the shock cord is super loose. So you basically have to return it yourself. This one, I hope over time, I would guess because it's elastic, it will loosen. But right now, like it pulls in super hard. Way harder than I'm used to on a C2 rower. So it may just take time to break it in. Other than that, honestly, the rowing angle is a little bit higher where the cord's coming out, so it feels a little bit different than a C2. I like, just because I'm used to it, maybe a little bit lower for the exit point, but it's not that much different. And then other than the return, it feels very similar in smoothness and just overall feel. Same with the smoothness of the guide rail because it's aluminum with rollers sitting on top. Honestly, the entire fit and feel, if you close your eyes, it feels very similar to C2. There's a couple things of note though. Number one, there's no damper like I said, so you can't adjust necessarily the amount of air that's going in. It's just standard. That said, I think it's a good amount of resistance. It feels good. It's something that you don't have to mess with. Those of you that like to tinker, you would probably prefer a C2 because you can adjust it. Those of you that just want to get a good workout, like this may be superior. The other part is the noise. You'll notice, I mean, rowers, if you're using this in your home gym, noise does matter. Like it's the reason there's a whole industry of soundproofing technology for home gyms. You're talking about crash mats and things like that make it quieter because oftentimes, especially in my house with my 4 kids, I'm training before anybody's up because I'm getting it done. But also because that's like the only time I can get it done. I don't want my kids in my garage with me. But because of that, I want to be kind of quiet because I don't want to wake up other people. So the noise does matter. This sounds just as loud, if not louder, than an Assault air bike, which is, I would say, definitely a ding. The C2 rower, because it's also having air resistance, can be loud, but it's not as loud as this. I mean, listen to this. Loud? I mean, pretty loud for an air bike. They're like, no, you're an idiot, Cooper. No, I'm just kidding. Most rowers are quieter. So if you're using this in an environment where you need it to be quiet, then this one is not the best option. Like just being truthful, the C2 rower is a much better option because it is quieter. Now to another important part, the monitor. The monitor on the C2 is kind of, again, the GOAT. They're using the performance monitor. Right now, I think they're on the PM5. I would love to see a PM6, by the way. But Assault is using a similar version, a little bit smaller than what they use on their air bikes. It's good in that it provides you what you want to see when you want to see it. It has some quick buttons that allows you to get into certain things like in interval programs or connect to heart rate monitors very quickly. But I will say the performance monitor on the C2 rower is vastly better. It just is. It also allows you to record your workouts. It allows you to upload it to a leaderboard online. It's kind of like, again, like it's just really well done. This one, it works. It shows you what you want to use. If you're somebody that just wants to jump on a rower and get a workout, doesn't care about leaderboards and tracking stuff, then that won't matter to you, but I just want to compare the two. Then there's another feature. I haven't seen them market this a lot, but it's kind of unique. There's this pop pin here. You hear that? And if you look at the back of the rail, it's not the whole part of the rail. There's holes that allow you to attach it and fix the seat. One, that allows you to stand the rower up without the seat going back and forth, kind of minor. But then the other one is if you want to do arms only workouts, you can lock the seat in. So you can lock it at any interval. So no matter the height, I mean, like if you're tall, you can even get pretty far back there, which allows you, I mean, it's pretty cool. It allows you to, one, if you're actually a crew rower and you want to work, I mean, just like say board press, say somebody that's powerlifting, they're working through a certain range of motion because maybe it's a sticking point. Maybe you're weaker at different parts of your movement on the rower. Honestly, this would allow you to work through that part of the movement or just allow you to work more of the upper body so the legs aren't taking over like they often do when you row. So I like that feature. It's minor. It doesn't get in the way. I think that's a perfect way to add it. It just, if you want to use it, it's there. If you don't, it's not something you have to buy extra. Now to the value. This thing is in line with the C2 rower. They have another version of this. They call it the Elite, which is $1,500 bucks. So it's actually 500 bucks more than this one, but offers, from what I can tell and from me using them, they're the same exact thing except with different colors. Like, just being honest, like, I can't tell a difference. They're probably gonna comment and say, well, this one actually has a titanium rail or something. They look the exact same, okay? Now, a couple other things for you that are comparison shopping. One, this seat, I will say, this is a more comfortable seat. It's more ergonomic. It really holds my glutes very well. Just feels good. It's a better seat. It feels better than the C2, just more comfortable. So those of you that buy the extra padding for the C2, you won't have to do that with this one. It's very comfortable. Also, one of the things to compare between this and the C2 is the replacement parts. The C2 is known to basically, they sell their replacement parts, I'm pretty sure almost at cost. They're always so cheap and you can get every part down to the little bolts. Trust me, I had to replace one time and I got all the replacement parts. It was so cheap, so easy to do, and I was off to the races. It was one that had over 1 million meters. It was just, it'd been beat to crap, but still worked. This, they may sell the replacement parts. I'm actually not sure. I can't find all of them on the site. I know they've started to do that for their Assault bikes, so I'm hoping they will do that for the Assault Rower Pro, but because it hasn't been out as long and there aren't literally millions and millions of these in people's gyms, we don't really know yet. But this one they're offering to compete directly, I think, with the C2 rower. This is 1,000 bucks shipped. The C2 rower is $990 plus $45 shipping, so a little bit more expensive, but not crazy. Would I get this one over the C2 rower? No. I'm just being honest. If I'm gonna choose one, here's the thing. If you want to beat the absolute best front runner in the industry, you can't just merely pass them. You must blow them away, either with price point or features. Does this one blow that one away? No, but I will say this. This is one of the closest comparisons that I've used of a rower to the C2. Like, this is probably one of the closest one that's like, it's almost there. So if you don't want a C2 for whatever reason, like, and you don't want the magnetic version of the Hydro, don't want to pay that much, I think if you're looking for something similar, this is kind of that. This is really well done. I actually really like this, but I'm also comparing it to the gold standard that's been around forever, that has replacement parts, that's not really that much more expensive than this one. They just didn't, in my opinion, offer it at a price point that makes me say, yes, this is so much better. Are they somewhat close? Yeah, but just to be honest, I still think the C2 rower is still the GOAT. Okay, let me know what you think in the comments. Would you like to see a direct comparison to any other rowers or maybe a roundup we haven't done in a while? Let me know in the comments. This has been Coop from Garage Gym Reviews. I'll see you next time. Peace.